Hi, this is Ian from EssentialTennis.com. Welcome to this video in which we're going to be talking about what makes topspin. What makes the ball rotate end over end towards its target so that we can get all those benefits that topspin affords us of being able to be more aggressive, hit higher over the net, and still be consistent because that topspin causes the ball to pull back down into the other side of the court. Well, this is actually in response to a Mythbuster video that I did about what doesn't create topspin. In that video, I talked about the phrase or the concept of hitting over the top of the ball to make the ball spin towards its target. And I demonstrated how that isn't the case. That's not what happens to create topspin. And I'll post a link to that video somewhere right around here so you can check that out if you haven't seen it already. But the most common question I received in response to that video was, well, okay, Ian, what does make the ball spin in that direction? What does create topspin? Well, it's actually very, very simple. You need three things to create topspin. Number one, let's just pretend that we're going to be making contact with the ball at this height, just for the sake of demonstration. The first thing we need is the racket at some point right before contact needs to be below the height of the ball. Number two, contact needs to be made with the racket face somewhere close to flat, perpendicular to the court surface. Every once in a while, you can get away with the racket being more closed than that. Usually it's going to be when you're really close to the net, the ball is sitting up, and you more or less have direct line of sight to the other side of the court. But from back here behind the baseline, you're going to hit the net if you close the racket more. Definitely much more. Maybe you could do like a couple of degrees more than flat, but it's got to be somewhere right around flat. That's step two. Step three is immediately after contact, the racket needs to continue upwards. So there needs to be some kind of upward momentum of the racket, upward direction of movement of the racket, and a flat racket face at contact as the racket and the ball meet. If those three things occur, the ball will have topspin. It might sound oversimplified, but it is absolutely true. And now there's a lot of little technique tips that we could get into as far as how to execute that most effectively and make the most amount of topspin, etc. But we're just going to keep it very simple today. I'm going to give you a drill that you can work on. If you're struggling with creating any topspin at all, I know a lot of players do, then this is something you're going to want to do. Basically, I've got a wall here, and I'm going to stand pretty close to it, just about 6 or 8 feet away. I'm going to begin just turned to the side. You can do this for a forehand or a backhand. And I'm just going to start with my arm relaxed and my racket just dropped down by my side. I'm going to drop the ball out in front of me, and I'm just simply going to lift the racket up very slowly and smoothly and relaxed. And I'm just going to lift the racket up past the ball. So it's going to look like this. Okay? So very relaxed, very slow, very deliberate, and I am creating topspin as I do this. It's not a lot of topspin, but in my teaching, I find personally that with my students, starting at lowest common denominator and kind of building around that is best. So doing something like this with a student who just cannot get topspin would be a great place to start. So I'm achieving all three goals here. Racket starting low, below the point of contact. Racket is finishing, or rather coming up above the point of contact, immediately after contact. And I'm making contact with a relatively flat face. We're actually, my cameraman and I are actually going to do some super slow motion footage of this so that you can see the racket coming off my ball, see the ball come off my racket with that forward spin. It's going to be rotating towards the wall, towards the backboard in front of me, and yeah, that'll pretty much show you that this is really all we need to create topspin. Again, there's a lot more to this if you want to be able to hit an aggressive, competitive topspin shot. But if you're struggling with your topspin and just figuring out how to hit any in the first place, this is a great place to start. So with that, thank you so much for watching today's lesson. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and click like if you're watching on YouTube, right down below the video. And also subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future lessons. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.